Welcome to the introduction to our master program, Colonial and Global History. This is the history track that teaches you just what the Leiden history program preaches. Global questions, local sources. Well, what might that be? In our program, we bring together a broad number of themes, approaches and processes, and we study them from different viewpoints across the globe. Our focus is on the effects of the increasing global circulation of people, goods and ideas during the early modern and the modern times. We teach you how to combine a global approach and knowledge of globalizing societies with a deep sensitivity for the local, vernacular agencies and context within which contact takes place. Or in other words, we combine the study of broad transnational processes such as empire building, decolonization, colonization, modernization and globalization with an in-depth engagement with specific regional societies. This includes, of course, also present current issues such as environmental degradation, the global restitution debate, and the impact of the colonial relationship in the colonies and at home. So, what does the program look like? In the first block of your first semester, you will start with a literature seminar. This is an intensive but rewarding course. It focuses on the central debates in the field of colonial and global history, and there are always several options to choose from environmental history to heritage and post-colonial studies, to give but a few examples. My advice is always check the e-prospectus before you make a decision, just to see what's going to be on offer next year. In your first semester, you will also choose a research seminar. We usually have around 5 to choose from. And in this seminar, the focus is on the training of research skills that include primary source analysis in combination with literature study. And again, we have a range of themes on offer. These seminars are usually connected to the current research of our staff members. This year, the range is exceptionally broad, from Surinamese political history to Mongol warfare and steppe societies, just to give 2 examples. These courses, as you see, are very diverse. So you might be working on oral history, or you might be studying translated chronicles from South and Central Asia, or you might end up working in the archives of the Dutch East India Company. But what they all have in common is that they bring global and local perspectives together. Now, in the second block of the first semester, all master students take the same research workshop, which we have called Methods and Theories in Global History. In this class, you will be given the chance to experiment with different primary sources and approaches. The focus of the class, that is taught by different staff members, is on the integration of non-European primary sources and on methods to read European sources from a local perspective. This includes experimenting with objects and oral histories as well. And in this course, our staff members bring their own work and experience to class for discussion with the students. They give you insight into their own research practice. Besides these 3 compulsory classes, there is a lot of space for optional courses. You can of course opt for a second literature seminar or a research seminar, because after all, students often find it very difficult to choose only one. Or you can choose from another MA program in Leiden. Think, for example, of the African Studies program or the China and Southeast Asian Studies program at the Institute for Area Studies. Or you can look further at courses on offer at other Dutch universities. Or, if you plan it well, you could consider taking your optional courses abroad. And then there is of course the option of doing an internship. We have a lot of experience with internships at various research institutes, at ministries and museums. See, for example, the list on the slide. Through our network, we are often approached by different institutes for internships in relation to special programs and exhibitions. But of course, you're also invited to take your own initiative in this respect. In my experience, most students find such a specialized internship very rewarding. Now, you will, of course, conclude your studies with a master thesis on a topic of your choice. And really this can go into many directions. Please just take a moment to read the titles of some of our recent graduates. But do not worry, you don't have to decide on a topic and design your thesis entirely by yourself. This is done in consultation with our specialized staff. In practice, I find that students are often inspired by one of the papers they wrote in class or readings they prepared for their classes. And we, as staff members, will also guide you by discussing the thesis options in class. And please note that we also have a lot of experience in sending off students for fieldwork. Remember our approach: global questions, local sources. I have frequently had students working for 1 or 2 months on their thesis in the archives in Jakarta or Colombo, for example. Now, just as a side note, in case you might be wondering what the difference is between the Master and the Research Master program in Colonial and Global History, we have listed the extra coursework on this slide. There is a lot of overlap between the two programs, but as the Research Master is a 2-year program, extra in-depth courses are added. So if you're still in doubt about which one to choose, feel free to contact our staff or coordinator of studies. So let me conclude with this slide that gives you an impression of the global and temporal reach of the work and courses taught by our staff members, from the Atlantic and Africa to Southeast Asia, and from the early modern to very recent modern history. Thematically, our expertise is just as broad. Maritime history, Atlantic cartography, slavery and its afterlives, Southeast Asian legal history, post-colonial and colonial studies, histories of knowledge production, of warfare and peace, Afro-Asian political histories and questions of mobility and belonging in modern Africa, and much more. But what we all have in common is that we approach these global questions from local perspectives. So, this concludes the introduction to our program. Thank you very much for watching, and we hope to see you soon at our faculty.